I was scrolling through Instagram on my phone when my breath caught in my throat. That ring sparkling on the screen? It was my 3-carat diamond engagement ring that had supposedly been lost 5 years ago. And right now, it was on my daughter-in-law Sarah's finger. She had written under the photo, "My most precious heirloom from Grandma," but Sarah's mother had died 10 years ago. And that ring belonged to my grandmother. My name is Claire Morrison. I'm 64 years old, and I'm going to tell you how I solved a 5-year lie and got my stolen ring back. But what I'm really going to tell you is this. Sometimes a silent woman knows exactly how to get the loudest revenge. My story began 45 years ago. I grew up in Dorchester, a small neighborhood in Boston. My mother, Margaret, ran a laundromat, and my father worked at the shipyard. We weren't rich, but we were full of love. When I was 18, I met Robert Morrison. He was a construction engineer, a handsome, kind, and ambitious man. On our first date, he brought me a bouquet of daisies because he couldn't afford roses. That daisy bouquet meant more to me than all the roses in the world. We dated for 3 years. Robert worked day and night, saving every penny. And finally that day came. One summer evening in 1982, by the Charles River, he got down on one knee. "Claire," he said, his voice trembling, "I don't have palaces or cars to give you, but I have one thing I can offer. My promise to make you happy for the rest of my life." He pulled a small velvet box from his pocket. Inside was a 3-carat diamond ring. It sparkled so brilliantly in the sunset light that it was almost blinding. "This ring belonged to my grandmother," Robert continued. "My grandfather bought it in the 1920s with money he'd saved for 10 years while working at the Boston Harbor. Then it went to my mother. And now I'm giving it to you. Will you marry me?" Through my tears, I said yes. That ring wasn't just jewelry. It was 60 years of family legacy, 3 generations of love stories. We got married in 1983. Our wedding was simple but beautiful. Robert's mother, Margaret, hugged me that day and said, "This ring is yours now, Claire. One day you'll give it to your own daughter or daughter-in-law. The women of the Morrison family are connected through this ring." 5 years later, our son Daniel was born. When I held him in my arms, I made a promise to Robert. One day when Daniel gets married, I'll give this ring to his wife. The years passed so quickly. Daniel grew up, finished school, and built a successful career at a software company. When he was 35, we got a phone call. "Mom, Dad, I want you to meet someone." Sarah Bennett entered Daniel's life in the fall of 2016. We first met her at Thanksgiving dinner. She was 28 years old, a very beautiful woman with long blonde hair and perfect makeup. "Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, it's so wonderful to meet you," she said, extending her hand. Her voice was sweet but somehow calculated. I felt it in that moment, but I ignored it. "Sarah is an interior designer," Daniel explained proudly. "She works for one of the most prestigious firms in Boston." Sarah was perfect throughout dinner that evening. She complimented my cooking, admired the house, asked Robert questions about his work life. But her eyes kept scanning our home, as if she were evaluating everything, calculating. She came into the kitchen while I was doing dishes. "Claire," she said, using my first name for the first time. "You have a beautiful ring on your hand. Is it a family heirloom?" I looked at the diamond ring. I had worn it specifically that day because I wanted to impress Daniel's girlfriend. "Yes," I said proudly. "It's been in the family since my mother-in-law's grandmother. It has a 100-year history." A light appeared in Sarah's eyes. "How special," she said. "Historical jewelry like that is priceless." In that moment, I felt something. A mother's instinct? But Daniel was happy, and I wanted to be happy too. 6 months later, they got engaged. Daniel announced it at dinner. "Mom, Dad, Sarah, and I are getting married." We all cheered with joy. Robert brought champagne. But I felt in my heart that something was wrong. 2 weeks after the engagement, Sarah came alone. Daniel was in a meeting at work. "Claire," she said in the living room, clasping her hands in her lap. There's something I need to talk to you about. My heart raced. Of course, sweetheart. What is it? I didn't tell Daniel, but I have a problem with my family. Her voice trembled, her eyes watered. When my mother died, my stepfather took all the family heirlooms from me. I have nothing left. I don't even have a family jewel to wear at my wedding. She sat down and held my hands. I know I'm asking for something huge, but would you let me wear that ring on the wedding day? Just that one day. I want to have a family heirloom in the photos. My heart ached for her. A girl who had lost her mother at a young age, grown up alone. I hugged her. Of course, Sarah. That ring is your family now, too. The wedding was held in June 2018. It was a magnificent ceremony. Sarah looked like a princess in her white dress. And on her finger, my diamond ring sparkled. She looked so happy in the wedding photos that for a moment, I thought about giving her the ring permanently. Maybe it should pass to the new generation of the Morrison family. But a week after the wedding, I wanted the ring back. I called Sarah. Sarah, honey, when can you return the ring? There was a brief silence on the other end of the phone. Oh, of course, Claire. I'll give it to Daniel and he'll bring it to you. But the ring never came. A week later, I called again. Sarah, the ring? Oh, I'm so sorry, Claire, I forgot. I was keeping it in the safe. I'll bring it this weekend. But she didn't bring it. 1 month passed. 2 months passed. Every time there were different excuses. I forgot to open the safe. Work is too busy. Daniel and I had a fight. It slipped my mind. In the 3rd month, I went determinedly to Daniel and Sarah's house one morning. Sarah opened the door, her hair disheveled, no makeup on her face. Claire, what a surprise. Sarah, I came to get my ring. Her face changed. Oh, the ring. Claire, please sit down. We moved to the living room. Sarah rubbed her hands together, avoided eye contact. Claire, something terrible happened. Last week we had a break-in. They took my jewelry box. We reported it to the police, but the ring was among them. My world collapsed. What? A burglary? Why didn't you tell me? It was a very chaotic time. Daniel was at risk of being fired from work, and I didn't want to upset you. Sarah, that ring was a 100-year-old family heirloom. I know. She started crying. I'll never forgive myself. Did it have insurance? It didn't have insurance because it had never occurred to me. It had been safe in our home for years. When I got home, I was devastated. Robert, the ring is gone. My husband sat down, pale-faced. How did it get lost? I told him everything. Robert put his head in his hands. Claire, that ring came from my grandmother to me, from me to you. We were going to leave it to Daniel. I know, I cried. I know. We went to the police. We asked for a burglary report. Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, said Officer Johnson. There's no burglary report from Daniel and Sarah Morrison's house last month. My blood ran cold. But Sarah said, maybe they filed it with a different district, the officer suggested. But the doubt in his voice was clear. On the way home, Robert said, Claire, something's wrong with this. What do you mean? Sarah might be lying. Why would she lie? She's our daughter-in-law. But a doubt awakened in me. A small, poisonous doubt. In the following months, our relationship with Sarah and Daniel became strained. Every meeting started with the ring issue and ended in an argument. Mom, let go of the ring already, Daniel said one day. It's not Sarah's fault. Thieves took it. But there's no police report, Daniel. Because we filed it with a different district. Why do you keep blaming Sarah? My relationship with my son was deteriorating. Sarah was building a wall between us. 2020 came. The pandemic swept the world. Our meetings decreased. During video calls, Sarah was always in the background, silent, observing. Robert's health declined. He had heart problems. In March 2021, he was in the hospital. Claire, he said at his bedside, let go of the ring issue. What's important is not losing your family. But Robert, no. Promise me. You won't ruin your relationship with Daniel. Through my tears, I promised. But inside there was a fire burning. Robert recovered, but he wasn't his old self. He retired. He started spending more time at home. One day, it was July 2022, I opened Instagram on my phone. I didn't use social media much, but sometimes I looked to see Daniel's photos. I opened Sarah's profile. Luxury restaurants, vacations, new cars. Daniel's software business seemed to be going well, and then I saw that photo, Sarah on a yacht deck, wearing sunglasses, a champagne glass in her hand. And on her left ring finger, my ring sparkled. My breath stopped. I almost dropped the phone. Under the photo, she had written, "My most precious heirloom from Grandma. Family. Heirloom diamond ring blessed." I took a screenshot. With trembling fingers, I zoomed in. I wasn't mistaken. That was definitely my ring. Even the small engraving on the edges was the same. I called Robert. Robert, look! My husband looked at the photo. His face turned bright red. That's our ring. The thieves had stolen it, hadn't they, Sarah? I murmured. But now it's on her finger. Maybe it's a similar ring, Robert said, still trying to be optimistic. No, look at the engraving. It says E+M 1920, Ernest and Margaret, your great-grandparents. I couldn't sleep that night. Until morning, I went through Sarah's old photos on Instagram, and I found them. December 2019, 6 months after the burglary incident. Sarah was wearing the ring at a Christmas party. February 2020, a selfie at a restaurant. Ring on her finger, summer 2021, at the beach, with Daniel. Ring there. Sarah had never had the ring stolen. It had always been on her finger. I showed Robert. His old eyes filled with tears. Claire, does our son know? I don't know, but we're going to find out. In the morning, I called Daniel. Daniel, we need to talk. Mom, I'm heading to work right now. Daniel. It's very urgent, he agreed when he sensed the seriousness in my voice. He came to our house at noon. What happened, Mom? I took out my phone. I showed him Sarah's photos, one by one. Daniel looked at the screen with a pale face. How this, son? Sarah never had the ring stolen. She's been lying for 5 years. No, Mom, there must be an explanation. What explanation? While she said thieves stole it, was she wearing it on her finger? Daniel took out his phone, called Sarah. Sarah, are you home right now? Yes, why? We're coming. When we arrived at Sarah's house, she met us at the door. A fake smile on her face. Claire, Robert, Daniel. What a lovely surprise. Sarah, I said, controlling my voice. The ring is still on your finger. Her face faltered for a moment. Then she recovered. What ring? I took out my phone. I showed her the Instagram photos. This ring. The one you've said was stolen for 5 years. Sarah turned white as a sheet. She backed away. You lied, I said, no longer hiding my anger. You've lied for 5 years. That ring was never stolen. Daniel was in shock. Sarah, is this true? Sarah started crying. Daniel, please. Sarah, is it true? Yes, she screamed. Yes, okay. I didn't have the ring stolen because it was so beautiful, and I wanted to keep it. When I wore it at the wedding, I felt like a princess. I didn't want to give it back. The world stopped. You lied for 5 years? Daniel whispered. To my mother, my father, to me? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sarah repeated, falling to her knees. But sorry wasn't enough. That night, Daniel stayed with us. He had left Sarah, at least temporarily. Mom, I'm so sorry, he said, putting his head in his hands. Since I met her, I neglected you. Son, I said, holding his hand. You're not guilty, but I want to get the ring back, of course. I'll go get it right away. But things weren't that simple. Sarah sent a letter from her lawyer the next day. The ring was given as a wedding gift. Legally, it belongs to Sarah Bennett Morrison. Robert was furious. It wasn't a gift. It was loaned. We consulted our lawyer, Mr. Thompson, Mr. and Mrs. Morrison, he said in a sad voice. Without a written agreement, it will be difficult for you to win in court. Sarah has been wearing the ring for 5 years. She can claim ownership, but it's our family heirloom. It has high emotional value, but weak legal evidence. If we went to court, it would take years. It would be costly, and we had no guarantee of winning. That night, Robert and I talked for a long time. Claire, my husband said, is this ring worth ruining our relationship with our son? Robert, this isn't just a ring. This is the inheritance from your grandmother. Her memory, I know. But we're still here. Daniel is still our son. The ring is just an object. I took a deep breath. You're right. But I can't let Sarah get away with this unpunished. What do you mean? I smiled. Now I had a plan. My plan was simple but effective. First, I sent Sarah a message. Sarah, we need to talk. Let's close the ring issue. I want to make peace. Sarah was suspicious but agreed. We met at a cafe. Claire listened to me, she began, her eyes teary. I'm so sorry. But that ring is now part of my life. Daniel and I have marriage memories with it. Please, Sarah, I said in a calm voice. I don't want the ring back. She was surprised. What? You heard me right. The ring is yours now, because I've gained something more valuable. Like what? The truth. I took out my phone. I've documented every lie you've told for 5 years. Your social media posts, your messages, what you told Daniel. Her face went pale. And now, I continued, you have 2 choices. Either I share these records with Daniel, with the rest of the family, and even on social media. Everyone will know you're a liar and a thief. No, please. Or, I said, making a stop gesture, you take off the ring right now and give it to me. And you tell Daniel the truth. Everything. Sarah trembled. She cried. She begged. But in the end, she took off the ring. When she placed it in my hand, I felt so light. This 100-year-old ring had finally come home. Daniel and Sarah got divorced. Sarah left town. Daniel stayed with us for a while, then rebuilt his life. Mom, he said one day, I'm so sorry for losing trust in you. Son, love sometimes blinds us. But you're a strong man. You saw the truth. Today, that ring is back on my finger. Every time I look at it, I don't just see the diamond. I see Ernest and Margaret's love, Robert and my story, the strength of our family, and most importantly, I learned this. Staying silent is not weakness, but speaking up at the right time is strength. Sarah stole a ring from me. I took a lesson from her. Trust is more valuable than gold. And no diamond can shine brighter than honesty. My name is Claire Morrison. I'm 64 years old. And this is my story. Did you like my story? And which city are you listening from? Let's meet in the comments. If you liked the story, you can support me by sending a super thanks so I can keep bringing more stories like this. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story. With love and respect.